anybody can hear me?
Yes, Commissioner Gabray, we
I
will begin shortly.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Hey, welcome everybody. This is the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission meeting of March 3rd, 2026. I am the chair, Richard Becker. Just so you know, items listed on this agenda may be taken out of the order presented. 2 or more agenda items for consideration may be combined, and any item on the agenda may be removed or related discussion may be delayed at any time. Backup material for this agenda may be obtained from Lou Ann D. Holmes, City Clerk, at the Office of the City Clerk, 495 South Main Street, second floor, on the city's or on the city's webpage at lasvegasnevada.gov. I'd now like to call to order and have roll call, please.
Chair Becker. Vice Chair Niger. Here. Commissioner Arminian. Here. Commissioner Gabray.
Here.
Commissioner Keller.
Present.
Commissioner Zamora. Excuse. Commissioner Burgos.
Here.
Commissioner Cornwall. Here. Commissioner Robinson. Excuse. Commissioner Vokitz.
Present.
Commissioner Jones. Excused. Commissioner Wool. Excused. Commissioner Sleazer.
Present.
Commissioner Taylor. Excused. Commissioner McGettigan. Excused. You have a quorum.
Excellent, thank you. I'd now like to make an announcement regarding compliance with the open meeting law. Are we in compliance?
We are.
Excellent. Agenda item number 3 is public comment. Comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, come forward and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. I see no one here for public comment. Moving to agenda item number 4. For possible action to approve the final meeting minutes by reference to the regular meeting of February 3rd, 2026. I think you've all had a chance to review the meeting minutes. Would somebody like to make a motion and second?
Commissioner Cornwell, motion to approve.
Commissioner Sleazer, second.
Excellent. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Great. That carries unanimously. Moving to agenda number 5, this is the report by the Department of Safety regarding a review of arrests, citations, and call for service at the city facilities and parks, all wards.
Lieutenant Jonathan Burdett with the City of Las Vegas Department of Public Safety. Did everybody get one of these, or does? No. Okay. If not, we can just go off the screen. This report is for the month of January 2026. The top locations, or top 5 Park and Rec Center locations for arrests and citations is going to be Justice Leavitt with 15, Kellogg's Air with 12, Lorenzi with 10, Angel with 8, and Gary Reese Freedom Park also with 8. The top violations are going to be remain in park after hours, unlawful presence in children's park, lodging without consent, misuse of park amenities, and violation of park rules alcohol. Year to date, arrests and citations in city parks and rec centers increased by 6.6% compared to the same time frame of 2025, and activity increased the most at Kellogg's Air Park due to increased proactivity by patrol. Each ward overview. For Ward 1, remain in park after hours is the top violation, and then lodging without consent and unlawful presence in a children's park. And the top locations for that ward will be Rotary Park, Charleston Neighborhood Preservation, and Betty Wilson Sports or Soccer Complex. Oh, sorry. Total arrests and citations at Parks and Rec Centers year to date for the month of January is going to be 27, and arrests and citations year to date for Ward 1 have increased 44.5% due to an increase of presence in the parks. For Ward 2, the top violation is going to be traffic citation for position and method of red traffic signal, basic speed, and remain in park after hours. And the top locations are going to be Kellogg's Air, Angel Park, and then All American. Total arrests and citations at parks year to date is going to be 24, and arrests and citations year to date increased by 242.9%, due largely to increased traffic patrols in and around Kellogg's Air and Angel Park. For Ward 3, it's going to be, again, remain in park after hours, lodging without consent, and unlawful presence in a children's park. And the locations are going to be Levitt, Gary Reese, and Rafael Rivera. Total arrests and citations year to date are going to be 51, and arrests and citations year to date have decreased in Ward 3, 38.6%, due to a decrease in park violations. For Ward 4, as well, it's going to be remain in park after hours, red traffic signal, and DUI liquor. Those locations are going to be, top locations are going to be Cliff Shadows Park, Durango Hills Park, and Gerheim Heights Park. Total increase, or total arrests and citations are year to date are 7, and it's stayed pretty level compared to last year. Total arrests and Ward 5 is going to be remain in park after hours, unlawful presence in the children's park, and misuse of park amenities. And those locations are going to be Lorenzi Park, Children's Memorial Park, and Heritage Park. Year to date, that's going to be 45, and the year to date it's increased 32.4% due to an increased calls for service at multiple locations throughout the ward. And finally, Ward 6. Remain in park after hours, lodging without consent, and proof of insurance for traffic. And those locations are going to be Floyd Lamb, Centennial Hills Park, and Gilcrease. Year-to-date sites and arrests are going to be 8, and it's increased 100% due to an increased presence at the parks. For our upcoming February community COP events right now, it's going to be the physical fitness preparation at Bill Breyer Park, February 7th and 14th, and then in March it'll be the 7th and 21st for the same location and the same activity. That is for our to prepare people for the academy if they're testing for us for the physical tests that they have to take, and then prepare them for the academy if they were to get selected and hired. That concludes the report. Does anybody have any questions I might be able to
Great,
answer?
Lieutenant. Commissioners, any questions today?
About? No?
Oh, you get off easy today, Lieutenant.
Just the way I like
You did
it.
an excellent report, obviously.
And thank you.
No
Well,
questions.
the ladies in the office make the report. They're the ones I give it. I just the one that
I appreciate
sits
you
here.
coming today. Thanks so much.
have a good one.
You too. Moving to agenda item number 6, we have a report by Steve Glint, Parks and Grounds Maintenance Manager regarding parks maintenance updates, all wards.
Good afternoon, Steve Glimp, Manager of Parks and Grounds Maintenance. I just got a quick update on some projects we've been working on throughout the wards. Ward 1 at Charleston Heights Arts Center, we did a bunch of ADA improvements to the parking lot. And then our upcoming project for Ward 1 is new playground shade at Gary Dexter. Ward 2, we installed a sort of convertible Gaga ball pit that can be set up or taken down as the center needs. And then at Kellogg's Air, the next project there will be the NFC fitness court exercise pod. We just poured the pad for it today and we'll be working on that. Ward 3, J.C. Levitt did a bunch of fence repairs for the soccer field. And then the next project will continue at J.C. Levitt with restroom and concession stand painting and roof repair. Ward 4 at Police Memorial Park, we just installed new kind of windscreen shade tennis slats on the tennis court. And then the next project will be at Buckskin Park, new shade for the playground. Ward 5 at Doolittle Kianga Soke Park, playground shade replacement. Those were on order for a while. They're custom jobs. And then next project will be at Heritage Park, a perimeter fence replacement. Fence is old and rusted out and starting to collapse in a few places. And Ward 6, we did an Eagle Scout project in the horse corral area and arena, just painting the fences and tidying up the place. And the next project will be at Estelle Neal Park, playground surfacing replacement. So that's all I've got. If you got any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Commissioner Sleazer?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Sleazer, Ward 4. I think most folks on the commission know by this point I bring a special interest in baseball to the work here. Just wanted to highlight a lot of the great work that's being done by the Parks Department right now and over the last few weeks to get several local Little Leagues ready for opening day and their regular season schedules. There are a handful of Little Leagues that utilize city fields for their season play. Central Little League in District 2, Mountain Ridge Little League, Western Little League, Lone Mountain Little League, and Piccoli Little League, all in District 4. I'm just aware of some of the work that's been going on those fields to get those leagues ready, but it's been really impressive. Wanted to highlight especially Children's Memorial Park, where folks were really helpful in being able to fix an electric issue that they had with the outlets directly behind home plate, which was going to prevent Lone Mountain from being able to run their normal audiovisual equipment as part of their opening day ceremony. It was something that the Parks Department turned around probably in just a few days from the time that we asked. Beyond that, up at Mountain Ridge, which obviously is my home park, a ton of work going on up there. 2 new portable mounds on fields 5 and 6. We did ask for light bulbs to be replaced on our scoreboards where they were out, and I think that's in the process of occurring this week. Dirt's been delivered to our fields. The fields have been graded in preparation for regular season play. The crews have been beautifying the facility and the dugouts by power washing different surfaces and making sure everything's blown out in advance. So just really, really great work, and want to thank you guys for being so responsive to our needs as we're getting ready for the season.
Well, I will definitely pass those kudos on to staff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Other commissioners? Great. Manager Glimp, I just missed the second thing. What was it, Kellogg's Air?
Ooh.
The NFC. Ward 2. There we go. Exercise pool, that's all.
At Kellogg's
Exercise
Air, we have a few of these National Fitness Court kind of exercise areas
Yeah.
in our parks, and this is kind of a smaller version. It's called an exercise pod. It's about half the size of the ones that we currently have out in the parks. And that'll get installed. They just poured the pad directly south of the restroom,
Okay.
the main restroom right in the middle of the park. So it'll be a turf reduction project as well. So.
Oh, good. Okay, great. Thank you. Great. I see no other questions. Thank you for this excellent report.
Thank you.
We are now moving to agenda item number 7, report by Lisa Tover, Recreation Manager regarding Recreation and Center updates, all words. And it looks to me like Pat O'Mara is going to speak on her behalf.
Good afternoon, everybody. As you can see, I am not Lisa. Um, Lisa is off attending director school for her final year this week, and so we're glad that she gets the week off for her continuing education. I'll talk a little bit about a few different things that are happening in recreation, and then actually kind of highlight some of our strategic partners that we have in the recreation division. Um, First, there are a few things that are happening in the next couple of weeks. This week is Reading Week. Those of you who may have children, who are in the younger grades or involved in the library systems or anything like that, you know that this is a pretty big week. Prompting reading for fun and enjoyment. And so several of our centers are having their youth programs celebrating Reading Week. Doolittle Community Center is celebrating tomorrow, and Cimarron Rose will have an event on Friday. Additionally, we love to spoil our active adults, and so we have Irish for today. Next week, it'll be the St. Patrick's Day Luncheon up at Centennial Hills on March 11th. And then we're jumping into spring break. And spring break camps, Veterans Memorial is already full, but Cimarron Rose is about 80% there. So there aren't many spaces in that camp for spring break. But Doolittle, Mirabelli, Stupak, and Dula will all be running spring break camps, and there's plenty of space still left in those. Many of those do fill up the week of with the communities that they're in, but there is still space in those areas. And then we're getting ready for spring, so there's going to be the Easter egg extravaganza over at that one looks like it's at Pavilion Pool. And so even our aquatics groups are getting into the spirit. That'll be Saturday, April 4th. And then we're jumping right into summer. We're prepping already. We've been prepping for several months for how we're gonna provide some great summer camp opportunities. Registration actually begins Monday, the 9th of March. As you know, last year we tried something new. It did not work as well as we had hoped. So this year, Monday the 9th, we will only have registration available for Veterans Memorial on that day, because there's the most bandwidth trying to get into those sites. That is where we have the most demand. All other camps will open on the 12th of March, so the following Thursday. I want to talk a little bit about some of our partners that we have. They're running programs in our centers, or they help us to run programs out in the community. So we work we have 2 preschool sites with the Osceola Head Start program right now over at Mirabelli and at Stupak. We have ESL and citizenship programs taking place over at Stupak. We have the Mountain Valley Prep School over at Dula. This is a group that is working on player development for basketball, but also integrated into a charter school program. It's something I had not seen before, but we're working with them this year. This is our first year with them. Of course, many of you already are aware our youth soccer program, Vegas Born Soccer, has a partnership with the Golden Knights, and we also have football partnerships with the Raiders for some flag football programs. Our center at Dula has many programs that work with Opportunity Village, and then of course many of our active adult centers offer tax preparation services through the month of April. And as we're in tax season now, that is starting to go on over at Doolittle and Leeburn specifically right now. So I answer any questions if there are any.
Commissioner Sleazer?
Commissioner Sleazer, Ward 4. I was trying to figure out where best to fit this in the agenda, but I think it fits under the category of recreation. I didn't want this group to be to go unnoticed either, but want to offer a thank you to Sandy Foley and Adam Sakaros in the Municipal Sports Unit who've put together an ad hoc committee, on process improvements for the field permitting process. And I think the group's goal, it's a small group of trusted users, I believe right now, that will provide some input to the city on ways that we might be able to make it a little bit easier, a little bit more convenient, a little bit more streamlined, and how we get those field allocation permits in place every season while still checking the boxes for you guys on what you need from us. So I thought it was a really good example of the Parks Department partnering with its users to try to make the use of the parks as easy as possible, and just want to thank Sandy and Adam for that.
I will pass that on for sure.
Excellent. Other questions? I would like to just mention, Commissioner Sleazer, that's great news, actually, because that's been something that's been a conversation for many years for many different organizations. So thank you. Great. I guess you get to stay there. Moving to agenda number 8. This will be a report by Patrick O'Mara, Deputy Director, Recreation and Cultural Affairs Director, regarding capital improvement program projects for the fiscal year 2027 all wards.
Okay, so some of this will be familiar information for you. I did cover several of these things last month, but I did want to review with you guys that, you know, we have certain funding sources for our projects with Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. The primary one is general fund. Now, general fund operates the majority of what we do for our operations costs and things like that, but we also do have through our CIP process, there are some of those projects that are funded through general fund allocations to the capital improvement program. And so one of those things is the asset replacement fund. And that fund is set aside for us to do things that Steve gets to talk to you about every month, where we're, you know, replacing fencing or play structures or surfacing, all of those things. We also have residential construction tax that comes in. So for every household that's built, a certain amount of money goes into that ward's account. And then we work with the ward offices for improvements. One such improvement is over at Ethel Pearson Park. We've been working with Ward 5 to put some much needed love into that park. They're helping us fund some of those improvements through residential and construction tax funding. Then there's also park bonds. So in the normal course of events, we have municipal bonds that go out in order for us to build, renovate, improve parks. Those come around every handful of years. And we're actually paying off the last grouping of the most recent ones that are out there. And then we've spoken about the SNPLMA projects that we've had in the past, and then that is always one opportunity for grant funding that we have available to us for about the last 25-ish years. The next round of SNPLMA is just starting to crank away on its gears. It's been delayed a little bit. We were expecting to get our information underway late last fall. Certain things have been happening that this is a bit behind from what our schedule was expected to be. So I'll talk to you a little bit about some of those things. Cragen Park Rehab, that was one of the projects in Ward 1 that we had this last year that completed in the fall. The play structure was a little bit delayed, and that has now been completed, I believe. Ansan Sisters City Park, we have a renovation going on there now. We're expecting to wrap that up in the next 3 to 6 months. Rancho Oki Dog Park is under construction. We have broken ground over there. That will be, I think that one's a little shy of a year. And then Betty Wilson West, we expect to start with official design in the next 3 to 6 months. That one is a SNBOMA project. And then we have firefighters dog park design underway. We're about 70% or so on design for firefighters park. The regional aquatic complex is expected to open before the summer this year. This is also one of our more recent SNBOMA projects. Angel Park renovation, we're in bidding right now. That project will probably go break ground in the next 3 months or so. I would say maybe late summer for that project. And then we have the Veterans Memorial Sport Court addition. That one was funded actually partially by our municipal sports unit to give some additional sporting area for Veterans Memorial Community Center. Ward 3, we finished, it wasn't really our project because this building and the one next door, but then the plaza, but obviously we're very invested because our home is here and we run the plaza. This was not really our project per se, but that one, of course, as you all know, has completed. East Las Vegas Family Dog Park is under construction. We're expecting completion sometime in the fall. We also have the Legacy, East Las Vegas Legacy Park that we did a feasibility study this last year that I believe has wrapped up. And then Freedom Park restroom replacement, there's some additional amenities that are part of that on the west side of Freedom Park. That design has just completed and we expect to go into bidding here in the next 3 months or so. In Ward 4, many of you are aware, we finished the Police Memorial Park upgrades. Some of the upgrades completed in the summer, and then we came back in and did an internal project to get the play structure removed and replaced. That all completed, and we had a ribbon cutting in December of 25. The Wayne Bunker Regional Pickleball Complex is under construction now. That ribbon cutting was earlier this year, and we expect to have that facility finished and open to the public sometime next spring. Durango Hills Pool renovation, while we don't operate that, we do still own that asset. We did a regular cycle of maintenance, full renovation, replacement of filtration equipment, all those kinds of things through our Public Works Department that finished up just prior to the summer last year. And then we are in the process of working with the state to relocate the state Veterans Memorial that had been at the Grant Sawyer building over to Thunderbird Park. That will be over at, I believe we're supposed to finish construction in this, I'm sorry, that says spring, it's supposed to say fall of 26. In Ward 5, we are in permitting now for the Lorenzi Court expansion. This is a SNPOMA Round 19 project. We're getting 3 additional courts and a new clubhouse. As many of you may be aware, the operations of the tennis court, the lessons that happen there, those types of things are actually taking place out of a modular unit. And so we're going to build a new restroom facility and clubhouse for that tennis complex. The pickleball courts were completed in early January, and they are well underway, well under use right now. We will be shutting them down for about a week at the end of the month to do a final court surfacing that it was just too cold to do in December and January. And so we will be closing it for about a week or so at the end of this month to do that work. But essentially, otherwise, it is complete and in regular use. We also had we have the Hears Park renovation. We're about 90% design on that. So that design should be wrapping up here in the next few months. Doolittle Active Adult Center, the front vestibule. So if you've been to Doolittle Active Adult Center, the front door is not, it's not perfect. And so we've been working hard for the last several years trying to get the design right and get it ready. And so now we will have a better, more visible, we believe, more usable front door there at Doolittle Active Adult Center. And then Wildwood Park is also under renovation design. We're about halfway through that process. And we should be late fall or so before that one's complete. And finally, Ward 6, we completed the Floyd Lamb Hay Barn restroom project last year. We are doing some design work now on Phase 1A of the Northwest Regional Park, which is a SNPOMA project. That one's a long haul because it's a big project. Centennial Hills pool renovation, we did both the indoor and outdoor, similar situation to Durango Hills. That completed before the summer. And then we're designing out this final phase of Teton Trails, this blank canvas there that you can see the blank part of the parcel in this image. We're about 30% or so on the design there. We also have a Sky Canyon Park and Metro substation under construction. That site actually has the naming public interest out on it right now. So if you go by the site, you should be able to scan the QR code and submit opportunities for naming that park. And then Igor Soldo, which is actually a developer park, the developer is building it and turning it over to us. That also is now under construction. So I can answer any questions if you have them.
Commissioners? We're all
I have
snoozy
a
today.
question.
Yes, on the phone,
I have a
please.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi all, Commissioner Debray, Ward 5. Just want to say thank you for improvement, a lot of improvement for Ward 5. And you still have 19 projects to go. And we really appreciate you. And I was there last week, on February the 28th. I was in Patriarch Park. And I saw the pickleball court. That was very nice, and everybody enjoyed it. And I just want to tell you, the residents tell me to tell you they appreciate it so much. So that's what I have to tell you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions, comments? No? Great, excellent report, Deputy Director. I've been waiting for this one. Agenda item number 9. It's a report by Maggie Plaster, Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs Director regarding the Park Ambassador Program Awards.
Good afternoon. I'm Maggie Plaster. I'm the Director of Parks, Rec, and Cultural Affairs. And I want to thank you all so much for being on this advisory commission. In addition to attending these meetings and going to groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings, and of course naming parks, which is one of the things that you do as an advisory commission, we are asking for your consideration to be park ambassadors, which you're already park advocates, but we need more help looking at our parks and giving us feedback that we can act on. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this program. This is the first time that I've been with the department since 2014. I don't think that we've asked our commissioners to be park ambassadors before. I know many of you are in our parks quite frequently, so it shouldn't be too heavy of a lift. It's certainly not required, but it would help us an awful lot if you would fill out the survey for us. So the purpose of the survey is for us to capture things in real time. You know, a lot of the things in our parks, They get a lot of use. We have 87 parks. We do not have enough maintenance staff to address all of the issues in our parks all the time. So having someone else there with a fresh set of eyes could really help us capture issues in real time. I mean, just this weekend, I had the director of community development reach out to me because the restroom at Mike Morgan had been, like, the whole thing was tagged inside and out. And that wasn't something that our park staff knew at that time. I'm sure they would have figured it out at some point, but it was addressed on Monday because he reached out to me. So that's kind of what we're hoping that our parks commissioners can do for us. It'll help identify maintenance needs. Hopefully you'll possibly see some safety concerns that we can address very quickly. And then our ultimate goal is to improve the overall park experience and help prioritize resources. So we do have a survey. It is linked online, so you just fill it out, and I'll go over that in a second. But you would, go to the park of your choice, probably one in your ward, and you would do an inspection of the park. It's not very detailed in what we're asking. It's really high-level things. We would love to know what's happening in the park when you're there. How many people are in the park? Do you see maintenance staff? What are people doing in the park? These are things we don't actually know. We don't have cameras in our park, so we don't know how often the pickleball courts are used at Patriot Park. I mean, there's just a lot of amenities that we would love to have some more information on their use. You would also note cleanliness and maintenance issues, safety concerns. If you feel comfortable, we would love for you to meet and greet any park patrons. Say that you're a park commissioner for the city of Las Vegas, and that would be such a nice touch to reach out to them and maybe get their input on how they feel about the park. And then, of course, if you're looking at our newsletters, you know about what's happening in our parks, and you could share any upcoming special events. So the survey is going to focus on these areas. We're going to ask for a score of 1 to 5, what the cleanliness is like in the park, and there will also be an area where you can tell us exactly what you see if there's some issues. We would want you to check out any graffiti or vandalism, anything that's broken on our playground equipment or our water fountains or the fitness courts, any of the amenities in the park. Tell us if you see anything that's broken, if you see anything that could be a safety hazard, and then just the overall appearance. So that's what we're asking for you to look at. And just as some background, we do look at our parks. We have 3 maintenance modes for our parks. Most of our parks fall into the moderate maintenance mode, but we do have high, which applies to the parks that get the most use in our sports complexes. And, we just want the perspective of the average park user. We're not asking you to be an expert on everything that we do in our parks, but your observation should reflect what a typical visitor might notice, like the grass hasn't been mowed in a long time, or there's issues with the baseball field, there's excessive litter or overflowing trash cans. So we don't want you to feel overwhelmed or underqualified. We just want the perspective of someone who would use our park. So just so you know, as a Parks Commissioner, that our high standard parks apply to parks such as Floyd Lamb, Lorenzi, Betty Wilson, KZ, Centennial. We've listed them all at the bottom of this slide. But with our high standard maintenance mode 1 parks, we're cutting the grass every week. And if they're sports fields, we're cutting it twice a week during the growing season. We do frequent pest control, we clean the restrooms, and we pick up trash every single day. We pressure wash amenities regularly, and we check the sprinklers every month, and we try to fix any issues within 24 hours. So knowing these standards, if you're at one of these parks that we've listed and it looks like the amenities haven't been pressure washed in a long time, that's the kind of thing we would love to hear from you. And then our maintenance mode 2 parks, they apply to all the parks that weren't listed on the first slide. We're cutting the grass weekly. We're trimming the shrubs about every 2 years. We're doing pest control response within 10 days if we find out about an issue in the park. We are cleaning the restrooms daily. We do that in our 1 parks and our 2 parks. We collect the trash a little less frequently, and we disinfect play equipment 4 times a year. And that's basically the standards for mode 2. And then mode 3, we don't have a lot of these. These are basically areas of our parks that aren't developed, and so we address them as needed. There's actually an area in Floyd Lamb that we haven't addressed in a long time. It's near the pavilion in Area 5, and we're working with a group called Rubicon, who you may be familiar with. They're going to do an exercise at Floyd Lamb with all their volunteers to help clear it out, because I think it does serve as shelter sometimes for the unhoused, but it's also it's a hazard for anyone who's in that area. There's just a lot of overgrown trees and trip hazards. So we are working with them, just for you to know, and we'll probably report on that at some other time. So Ashley put together this presentation for me, and I said, we need photos. We need photos of the things that need to be addressed. So here are some photos that we get every Sunday from our crew leader who's on staff. And so you see, like, if you see anything like overflowing trash cans and irrigation that shouldn't be on, graffiti or kind of trashed bathrooms, or my least favorite thing is when we've got people on our sports fields driving their cars around and ruining our grass. So anything that you see like that, that's what we would want to report. So ultimately, we feel like having more people in our parks giving us feedback is going to improve the public safety of our parks, hopefully build trust with our residents and our park goers, improve the conditions of our park. And, you know, when you're in a beautiful park, it does make you proud of the park and of where you live. So it does help build civic pride. So now we're just going to look at this survey briefly. Jeff's going to pull it up, I think. And let's see. Jeff, do you scroll down or do I?
You can do it.
Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to send you a link and a QR code. You know, if you have family members who visit our parks frequently, if you have friends, if you have anybody who likes to have stuff to do while they're in the park, you can certainly share this QR code with them. But this is essentially the form. You're just going to put in your name and the park name, the date and time you inspect it. That really helps us because we can see who was in the park last through the systems that we have in Parks and Ground Maintenance. And then we also would like to know, you know, the hour and the day. We'd like to know how many people are in the park, just a brief description of their activities. None of these fields are mandatory. So if you know, only have 5 minutes in the park and you only have time to fill out some of this survey, just some of it's better than the whole thing, you know, than not doing it at all. We want to know if you observe our maintenance staff in the park. And then we're on a rating of 1 to 5. And so you see here, you would just rate cleanliness and then give notes if you have them and the other things that I mentioned earlier. For safety, we identified raised sidewalk panels or tripping hazards, broken tree limbs, holes in the grass, you know, irrigator heads maybe that are higher that someone could trip over, anything that you think could lead to an unsafe environment, and then any additional thoughts and photos if you have them. Do you have any questions about any of this so far?
Commissioners, questions? Go ahead, Commissioner.
Commissioner Volk, it's Ward 1. I'm really glad to see this because, you know, I frequently walk the parks. And I have used the C-Click Fix. Is that still a viable option?
That is actually my final slide, but I was going to show that in a second.
Okay, and that's what I usually share with people. And I will either come back and email Ashley or I'll fill out one of the forms at C-Click Fix. But has any thought been given to groups that frequent an amenity? And that, let's say we have the skateboarder club. I don't know if there is such a thing, but engage them as an ambassador. And those folks report on issues. Obviously, it would be amenity focused, but can they be ambassadors too in this program?
Absolutely. I think the easiest thing to do would be to use C-Click Fix for maybe those user groups. But either of these things are going to come back to our PGM staff and allow them to work on what's identified.
And when I remember to wear the shirt, which is clean, people come up and tell you, but they think by telling me they're done. And I try to encourage them to do what we just talked about, but also to email our administrative representative. But I think once we're gone, they don't do that. So that's why I'm thinking maybe if we engage people, a group that frequents an amenity, and they're, I don't know what you'd call them, soccer moms. But I firmly believe when you bring people into a park who care, the quality of the park over time elevates, and it addresses the graffiti. And I think there's some national statistics on that. So bravo, and I'd like to see this program expand. That's enough for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. Other commissioners? Yes, go ahead.
I do have a question.
Oh, let's take the phone first. if you don't mind.
Commissioner Wall,
or
Mayor
not.
appointed. I just have a question about pest control and what you're using for that.
I'm going to turn it over to Steve Glimp to talk about that.
Thank you.
Steve Glimp, Parks and Grounds Maintenance Manager. What's your question?
I wanted to know what you're using for pest control.
That would depend on the pest. If we're talking about weeds, or actually, from a broader perspective, we use integrated pest management as a strategy and a philosophy. Use the least impactful thing as often as possible before you move on to very impactful things. But again, it would depend on the pest. So if we're talking about weeds, we start off with vinegar, horticultural strength vinegar, then move on to things like actual weed killers when that's necessary.
Thank you. I was just concerned about children playing in the parks and what they're exposed to.
Yeah, we definitely keep that in the forefront of our minds whenever we're doing any kind of treatment for anything.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Did I have a commissioner on the phone that wanted to speak?
Yes. Commissioner Gabriel, Ward 5. Hello,
Hi,
Ms. Lester. How are you?
doing well. How are you?
I hope I was able to see you. I'm doing good. And it's good to hear your presentation. I have been a park ambassador for the last 10 years, as you know. But I'm so glad you came up with the survey, because I do have a lot of questions, and also I take pictures, and I talk to also residents, what they need and what they don't. But I'm just saying I'm glad you came up with the survey. So we all should be ambassadors to our parks. And I recommend when you go to the park to be ambassador, you need to wear, maybe if you have park and recreation commissioner t-shirt or badge, so people can talk to you and then they can be open what they need, what they don't. So that's what I want to say.
Thank you for your comments, Commissioner Gebre. And one thing I wanted to mention about this particular form stack is any of the input that you put in, we have that record. So it's really great to have it all in one place.
Great, Commissioner, go ahead.
Commissioner Cornwell, a couple things. This is going to be fantastic because everybody calls me and then I call poor Steve over there. So this is the QR code is going to be a lifesaver for me anyway. So I think this is going to be very helpful. The other thing I'm wondering is if we have a Boy Scout group go in there and they pick up 3 bags of trash and they take a picture, will we be able to give them like community service hours for doing that?
We can definitely do that.
Okay, so and then they would just do that through this form also, just put it in the comments, or how would we go about that?
I mean, what I know about, I don't know how the scouts do community service hours, but generally you just need someone that's not the parent to sign off on them.
Okay.
So, if they need a park and rec person to do that, I'd be happy to do that. But if you're working with them, you signing off
Then I
on
can
it
do it.
probably gets them those hours too.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Great. Director Plaster, this is Chair Becker. I just wanted to say thanks a lot for bringing this. I know a lot of us have gone out and we've been with council members doing kind of the same thing, and we've gone out on our own. And yes, we will hit up Steve sometimes with maintenance issues, but this is like that perfect middle ground. So thanks for coming in today to present this. I think it's exceptional. And
Absolutely.
as you can see, you have a lot of excitement.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not going to go into all the details with C-Click Fix, but I will say that it is another option if you want to just tell someone, use C-Click Fix, they can get the app. I have family members who think that they always need to tell me about issues in the parks. And, usually I act on them, but sometimes I'm like, just use C-Click Fix because it will get to our park maintenance staff. So it is another option. But this one gives us more details.
Excellent. Thank you so much for the report.
Thank you.
Moving on to agenda item number 10, it's a report by commission members regarding park issues and events within their respective council wards and at-large all wards. Do any commissioners have anything to report on their ward today? Commissioner
This is
Sleazer.
Commissioner Burgos, Ward 6.
Oh, go ahead.
Hi, there's a few things actually going on in Ward 6. On March 6th is the pickleball with City Councilman Bruni. It's from 8 to 10 a.m. at the Centennial Hills Park Pickleball Court, located at 6851 North Buffalo Drive. It's for all ages and all skill levels. Just remember to bring your paddles. There's also this weekend on Saturday, March 7th, with Get Outdoors Nevada, a park cleanup at the Centennial Hills Park. It's from 8 to 11 a.m. You can go to the getoutdoorsnevada.org website and register to be a volunteer. They'll provide all the necessary tools and equipment as well as refreshments. On April 4th is the Family Spring Annual Fling at Floydland Park at Chili Springs from 10 to 2 p.m. It'll be a Pet Pals Parade and Classic Car Show. You can find more information there on the City of Las Vegas website. And that's all I have for Ward 6.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Sleazer.
Thank you, Chairman. Commissioner Sleazer, Ward 4. I mentioned earlier that there are a handful of Little Leagues that utilize City Fields for their opening days, and we're coming right up close to that. So I wanted to take an opportunity to highlight two that are in Ward 4 and then a couple others that are scattered across other wards. Central Little League actually had their opening day this past Saturday at Freedom Park. Had an opportunity just to drop by for another activity down there, and it looked like they were having a great time. Lone Mountain Little League will be kicking off this Saturday, the 7th, at Children's Memorial Park. Their parade is at 9:45. Western Little League will be holding their opening day also this Saturday, the 7th. Their parade is at 9:30 at Doc Romeo Park. And then Piccoli Little League, their opening day is a bit later, Saturday, March 28th, and I believe the agenda is to follow. Last but not least, I'm sure you didn't think I was going to leave this one out. Mountain Ridge Little League is also opening this Saturday. We've got a pancake breakfast with the Aviators mascots at 7 a.m. Players in their uniforms eat free. The parade of players will actually begin at 9:30. Opening day ceremony to be followed by the first pitch at 10. We've got food trucks, photo booth, radar gun, challenge, vendors, and even in Children's Entrepreneurs Network throughout the day. And then games will actually begin at 3. So everyone is welcome to come out and join our 813 players this season and their families. One of our biggest yet. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. If I wear a uniform, will I get free breakfast as well? Yeah.
Okay. We can make that happen.
Yeah. Great. I don't have anything for Ward 2 today. This is Chair Becker, but I would like to say that every November we always talk about the same thing, which is that our meeting tends to fall on elections. And staff and myself, we've heard you talk about that every year for probably decades. And so what I'd like to do is ask staff to put on the agenda next time that maybe we can talk about having a special session maybe on November 2nd, which would be the Monday prior to, so that we won't have that issue, okay? So if staff could do that for me, I'd appreciate it. Other than that, I think we can move to agenda item number 11.
Oh, I have some.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner, I didn't see the light.
Commissioner Cornwell, I have a work day set up for Sunday, March 8th at the Las Vegas Healing Garden. The city went in and put all new irrigation down for us and new mulch, and it's absolutely fabulous. So thank you, Steve and Brad. And we're going to start at 8:30 and be there until I'll be there until it's finished. So 8:30 to 2:30, we'll say. Thank you.
Excellent. Agenda item number 11 will be citizens' participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the commission. No subject may be acted upon by the commission unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, come forward and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion of any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. Do I have anybody here for citizens' participation? I see none. This meeting, agenda item number 12, is adjourned. Thank you so much.